However, on to other news, and I think Yes Bank would also draw top attention. Remember, actually, we kind of told our viewers yesterday at about 3:15 that the stock was looking slightly weak, possibly because of QIP getting launched. It was launched. I think the book closed at 8. Let's talk about all of that and more with Rana Kapoor, MD and CEO of Yes Bank. Of course, remember, he joined us last night as well, but this is a follow-up to all that's happened between last night and this morning at 8 a.m. Good having you, Mr. Kapoor. Thanks for joining in. Now, take us through the utilization of the proceeds you will garner from this QIP. How will these be used?
This is in accordance with our growth plans as approved by the board and by shareholders as recently as June this year. So the objective is to really ensure that we have enough capital to be able to achieve our growth objectives. And these growth objectives have been somewhat driven by an improving economic environment. The tailwinds in the economy now by far exceed the residual headwinds, and it's a good time to grow. So we are now quite conditioned at Yes Bank to actually start navigating somewhat cautiously though to grow certain sectors, sunrise sectors where we have demonstrated ability, a demonstrated and proven track record with asset quality preservation, and with this stage of growth, the third phase of our bank's growth, which is the large bank phase, we have reason to believe will get a catalyst with this capital raising underway.
Now, Mr. Kapoor, morning. What will be the impact of QIP on your Tier 1 capital?
Well, what it does basically is that the core Tier 1 ratio should go north of 15%, closer to 15.5%, and the capital adequacy of the bank overall should exceed about 19% after this deal is consummated. And naturally, with that sort of a capital buffer, we will have enough, let's say, deep pockets in the system to be able to grow at 30% or around for the next 3 to 4 years. So it is indeed our plan that till 2020, when we complete the third phase of our life cycle, the large bank phase of Yes Bank, that we should be well stocked on capital and be able to, in a way, tap the opportunities as a consequence of the economic comeback. So it's a good time to grow now.
Fair call. Can you give us a sense of how long will the capital last? I think everybody will now be wanting to know when will it that some other action will come in from Yes Bank. So for how long do you think will the capital last, Mr. Kapoor?
You see, if we grow at 30%, I have reason to believe that this capital should last us between 3 to 4 years. And once we are back to 20% ROEs with a dividend payout strategy of around 20%, we organically, grow about 20%. So we retain enough capital through our earnings to be able to grow 20%. So $1 billion capital stock injection should allow us to grow nicely for the next 3 to 4 years.
Right. Mr. Kapoor, hi, morning. Talking about the growth outlook again then, will you be able to maintain that 30% growth in loan book for the medium to long term?
Yes, indeed, because, at the beginning of the third phase of our life cycle, which started in April 2015, which I define as the large bank phase of Yes Bank, in a fairly, let us say, challenging year like fiscal 15-16, the first year of this 5-year phase, we grew 30%. In the first quarter of the second year, 16-17, June, we grew 33%. And there is very good traction in our core businesses, in corporate businesses, as well as new streams which are gathering terrific momentum, particularly our MSME business, as well as, to a very large extent, our consumer and retail banking businesses. We are also seeing fantastic accretion in our CASA deposit base, which is nearing 30%. So the overall granularity of our deposit base with the resultant impact of reducing cost of funds should actually position the bank in a strong way for the next phase of growth. So the next 4 years till 2020, we have visibility to grow at 30%.
Mr. Kapoor, pleasure speaking with you. Thanks much for taking the time out and speaking with us today. Okay, that's the word from Rana Kapoor. Yes Bank, of course, the stock to look out for, as would be some oil and gas majors. And what a stupendous number coming in from ONGC, Ajay.